The Ovations. 1. Start. Memphis was by no means overrun with R&B vocal groups during the 1960s. Sensational single-soul artists proliferated at Stax/Volt, High, and the city's other top labels, but a mere handful of groups were built to last. The Ovations headed that short but select list, requiring only 3 members to serve up a series of immaculate 45s for Gold Wax Records. The Ovations were fronted by lilting tenor Lewis Williams, whose uncanny vocal resemblance to the late Sam Cooke was no accident. I love Sam Cooke so. I just idolized him. So I just wanted to sing everything he put out, says Lewis, BOM February 24, 1941 in Memphis. I heard some soul stirs things. Then when he put You Send Me Out, boy Matt flipped me. 2. First success. Rounded out by Nathan Pedro Lewis and Elvin Lee Jones, the Ovations gave Gold Wax its first national hit in the spring of 1965 with their breathtaking It's Wonderful to Be High Love. Lewis had previously been with the Del Rios, who made a fine 1962 Stax single, There's a Love Beast/W just across the street. I started in church, singing around the neighborhoods. I went to Booker T. Washington High School, sung with a group called the Montclairs, says Lewis. At that time, I was a background singer. I didn't want a chance no lead, because I loved background so much. I loved to sing in the background, and move with the steps. That's where I was till I got with a group called the Del Rios. For a long time, future Stax star William Bell fronted the Del Rios. He had a record called You Don't Miss Your Water, says Williams. It was a hit for him, so he left the group. That's when I got Nathan with me. BOM July 30th, 1943, Nathan was already experienced when he joined the Del Rios. I was out in South Memphis with little old groups, doo-wopping up under the street post light, says the Memphis native, whose El Salvador's caught the ear of a local grocery store owner. He said, You all got a song that you think you might want to record? We said, yeah, we've got 2 tunes we wrote. He said, what's the name of them? We said, Shimmy in the Daytime, Shimmy at Night. And we got another one, Fall Is Here. He said, okay, we'll try to work on cutting these 2 tunes. Well, he changed our name from the El Salvadors to Bamey and the Googles. We didn't like it. We went, Bamey and the Googles, where'd you get that? His name was Bamey Schillingstein. So he felt comfortable with Bamey. But what about the Googles? Where did that come in? We just didn't want anybody calling us the Googles. Bamey took us to a guy that had a jewelry store here in Memphis, Shimmy Alabaster, he says. Schillingstein knew Alabaster, and they got together and did this little project. Fall Is Here B/W doing the Shimmy emerged in 1960 on Shimmy Records by Bamey and the Googles. They recorded that one record. A big old fat, thick record. And we were all clustered around at the store and had told the people in the neighborhood to listen. And I think Bamey got him to play it on the radio about 1 or 2 times. Oh, we thought we were really a real group then. 3. Big step. Being a Del Rio was a major step up from being a Google. I met them when I was downtown at my aunt's beauty shop on Beale Street, on 4th and Beale, says Nathan. Some of the members of the Del Rios group, Lewis Williams and Robert Huntley, would come by the beauty shop. Robert and Lewis liked the way El sounded when we would be back the back room going over little tunes. So they suggested that they would tell Harry, Hampson Austin, about my tenor, and they would suggest putting me in the group. So they talked to Harry about it. Harry said, tell him to come up to the Flamingo Room tomorrow. I went up there, did the interview. Harry was in the group then, Robert, Lewis, and myself, says Nathan. So we march in there as the Del Rios. William Bell had just left the group. I wind up inheriting Bell's uniform. So we perform happily as the Del Rios. Clifford Miller, the owner of the Flamingo Room, sponsored all the uniforms that we used. And we kept a packed house every night. The Del Rios were soon strengthened by a new member they discovered in Monroe, Louisiana. Paper Boy used to come by when we'd be rehearsing at the little hotel we were staying at, says Nathan. He told us his name was Norman West. He heard us in there rehearsing, so he told us that he played organ, had been to college, had 1 year off college, and he was interested in music. But he never had a chance to show it. So he noticed that we would go up to Ivory Joe Hunter's house every day. Norman said, "Do you think you all could get him to let me come in and sit around with you guys?" I said, "I'm sure we can." And Norman did a couple of songs with us, and it worked out well. The guy could walk on his hands, he was acrobatic. Louis was doing splits. So everybody had something to add to the group. Plus Norman played the organ. That was the fast member in the group that really had knowledge of the music. And he could sing real well, says Nathan. He got on the organ, and the group was tight and right. Well, that went on for about a year or so. Then Norman was drafted into the Army, and Harry Austin, who was the business manager and had been with the group a long time, something made him think it was a good idea to go to Detroit. So the group started dwindling down. Robert Huntley left the group and went over and started doing things at Stax. So that left Louis and myself. Willie Mitchell contacted me and Louis. Said, "Look, I've got some dates. Would you guys be interested in backgrounding Don Bryant on these dates that I've got? You all will be the 4 Canes." So he got 1 member out of the Canes group. "So it'll be you, Louis, and Elvin Lee Jones," recalls Nathan. We noticed from that experience on that outing that we had a solid background behind Don. And we knew Louis's potential as a lead singer. So we functioned as the 4 Canes to do those dates, and something came to us, said, "Well, let's work on something original with the harmony sound that we've got, and see what we can come up with." With Louis as lead and Nathan and Lee providing scintillating harmonies, 3 voices were enough. We had this guy down the street that was working at the blood bank, Roosevelt Jameson. He was interested in the music. He had been sort of akin to gospel singers like O.V. Wright, James Carr, says Nathan. Roosevelt used to listen to us sing. He said, "Look, man, I know some guys that's interested in cutting some people. Would you guys be interested in coming down to the blood bank this evening after it closes? I'm going to have them down there, and you all show them what you got." We met the people down at the blood bank, 2 white gentlemen, Rudolph Russell and Quentin Claunch. The Perron Gold Wax. We presented our tunes. They said, "Do you all know a band that can play those tunes?" We said, "Yeah." They said, "Who?" We said, "Bowlegs Miller." They said, "Well, get in touch with Bowlegs and work the stuff up, and we want to cut it." So they got in touch with Chips Moment over at American Studio. Bowlegs came over, I think we did 2 tunes. Then we had to come up with a name. So we came up with the Ovations. So Louis, Lee, and myself started off with the group and the name Ovations. For the newly created, the newly minted Ovations Gold Wax debut coupled 2 fine group penned originals, Pretty Little Angel and Won't You Call. But it was their self-generated encore that propelled the Ovations onto the national touring circuit. Sam Cooke had a tune called Wonderful, a spiritual. I started writing a couple of lines, some lines on It's Wonderful to Be in Love, says Louis. Me and Nathan and Lee just finished it up. Cut at Moman's fledgling facility, the song felt like a smash from the outset. We went in the studio at 6 o'clock that evening, and come out 6 o'clock that morning. And everybody was rejoicing. I come up and told my mama, "I know we got a hit." "I know it, Mama," says Louis. And boy, when that thing came out, it shook Memphis. It's Wonderful to Be in Love climbed to number 22 R&B and number 61 pop on Billboard's national charts during the spring of '65. Jameson supplied the up-tempo flip, Dance Party. By late June, the trio was touring nationally. Research, Vitor Hugo Lizard Leonardi. Hello friend, I am a big music lover, and because I thought that without music I would be nothing in this life, I created this channel. The soul is the root of music, and in my humble view, everything we hear today of good music is related to the soul. If you liked it, leave your like and subscribe to the channel of this force so that new content like this can be produced. Thank you very much.